Hello. Welcome back to the Visio 365 navigation tutorial. In this video, I will discuss shapes, connectors, connector tool and selector tool toggles, and text within shapes and on connectors. Let's get started. To insert shapes into your activity diagram, you'll insert them similarly to how you added a swim lane. In the Shapes window, by clicking, holding, and dragging, you can add shapes into your swim lanes. Let's go over the shapes that most of our activity diagrams will utilize. The shape I just selected is the terminator. It will always start or end a diagram. Let's type that in just so that we remember it. Remember, when dealing with text and shapes, ensure that no shape overlaps with borders or margins. Adjust them as necessary. Also ensure that font size within shapes is 16-point font and that the text does not overlap with shape borders. This will ensure legibility when printed. Our next shape is a process shape. The process shape is versatile and will likely be the one used the most in your activity diagrams. Many processes that actors undertake will utilize this shape. This shape is external data, also known as an e-copy. This shape will only be used in non-human actor swim lanes, like IS, where electronic copies of information can be stored. To create a multi-e-copy, simply stack two of the shapes. This shape is a document, also known as a hard copy. This shape serves a similar purpose to e-copy except for tangible data. To create a multi-hard copy, or multi-doc, search for multi-doc in the Shapes window. This shape is data, or more specifically for this class, data entry. Processes that can be classified as an actor inputting data into an IS may utilize this shape. The last common shape that we will discuss is the decision shape. The decision shape entails a process that contains more than one outcome. Typically, the text inside the shape will pose a question. The activity diagram will split into more than one pathway for each answer. For example, yes and no could be two alternatives from a decision step. That covers the basics of shapes and text in shapes. Now, let's discuss connectors. To create a connector, hover over the shape you wish to start the connection in. Identify the green nodes that appear. By clicking and holding on the node, you may drag your cursor to another node on another shape to make the connection. Therefore, the basis of an activity diagram is not just the shapes used, but also how they are connected. In an activity diagram, time flows downwards. This creates some rules for our connectors. Connectors may not turn or go upwards like this. This would signify going back in time. The correct connector would look like this. Let's say our diagram is getting cramped, however, and our previous placement of shapes is making it difficult to draw good connectors. Do not worry. Visio 365's default cursor is a selector tool. By clicking, holding, and dragging to create a selection, you may select and move many shapes all at once. A shape must be fully covered by the selection to be selected. It will highlight blue if it was done correctly. Finally, let's briefly talk about text on connectors. The most common occurrence of this will be regarding decision steps. To create text on connectors, highlight the connector by clicking on it once. Then double-click the connector. A small text box should appear. Again, to ensure legibility when printed, the font size for text on connectors should be between 12 and 16-point font. As an example, off of this decision step we may write yes and no on the connectors when our diagram splits. There's also the occasional usage to clarify processes like hand deliver, as I will demonstrate now. That is it for this video. Please continue with the next video about saving and converting our diagram into an image we can utilize in other documents.